Okay, hello and welcome to another episode of QuickIP. Today we're dealing with defenses to trademark infringement. So previously we were talking about um previously we were talking about um the rights and infringement and remedies for when there's infringement of trademarks. And we were also saying that it's possible for one to obtain remedies when they successfully establish that their trademark has been infringed. But there are also defenses that are available to an alleged infringer where they could then successfully defeat a claim for trademark infringement. In that instance, they are saying, no, we did not infringe, even though it looks like it, but based on the provisions of the law, we did not infringe on your trademark. And we are now currently at step 5 on defenses to trademark infringement in terms of our map or timeline. And so, what are the various defenses that one could offer when they are alleged to have infringed on another's trademark? They could rely on bona fide use of their own name, or good faith use, using their name in good faith, or a descriptive use of a given trademark in good faith, a use that is for the purpose of indicating the intended purpose of a particular goods or services, and that is when done in good faith. When it is used on, when the trademark in question was used on genuine goods, when the use was of the utilitarian features and it's in good faith, and when the use is one to which the registration does not extend. Remember that we said there's the use in the course of trade is what is the use that is protected under trademark law, and then it could also be possible as a defense to allege concurrent registration. So starting with bona fide use of one's own name, it could be a defense, and in that instance, trademark will not be infringed when one is bona fide using their own name, the name of their place of business, the name of their predecessor in business, or the name of the place of business of their predecessor. So as an example, if you are Catlejo Marciani and you manufacture shoes and you obtain trademark registration for Catlejo Marciani kicks, that could serve as a defense if the trademark owner of Catlejo shoes sues you for trademark infringement. You could say, I am using my name and I'm using my full name, which distinguishes me from other people who answer Catlejo, and also I have kicks in the name, and and all those things. So in this case, I'm showing that I'm using my own name in good faith. I have added, my surname. I've made it more distinctive by doing so. And so, I've used my own, it's my name, and I've used it in good faith. And so that could serve as a defense to trademark infringement. It's also possible to where you are describing, you're using, a particular trademark in a descriptive manner, where you're describing the kind or the quality or the quantity, the geographical origin or the characteristics of your goods or yourself. So if your product is a see-through fence that you sell, for people to use in their business or in their premises to secure their premises, and there's someone with a trademark that has see-through fencing in their name, you could say that I'm just describing my product. And for it to be bona fide, for it to be in good faith, it has to be that it's used in a descriptive sense. You're using it to describe. You're not using it for any other thing. With respect to that mark, you're not using it for any other thing other than to just describe something. In class, we'll deal with some of the cases that help us to see when you could successfully rely on this defense and when you could not. In fact, in one case, the court was saying that if you are if there's no good faith in the descriptive use, it will still be trademark infringement. Also, it could be that you are in good faith using the trademark to indicate an intended purpose. So say, for example, you sell windscreens for cars and you manufacture, so windscreen would be a spare part. And so if someone, because of course you will not buy a car with no windscreen, unless it's you will not buy a car with no windscreen. But I mean, for purposes of our example, let's just say you can't buy a car with no windscreen. So if you happen to have your windscreen damaged and you're going to replace it, you would come to someone who is selling, windscreens, and they will manufacture their windscreens according to specifications. So they would say this windscreen would fit BMW E30 series, this windscreen will fit a Camry 2007 model, or whatever. So in that kind of instance, they are using the BMW trademark to indicate an intended purpose. They are not using it for any other thing. So they will still have their own trademark, but they are just saying, you see this windscreen that we've manufactured, it will just, when you buy it, just know that it will fit on BMW E30 series. This one will not fit. This one is meant for this. So it's just for the intended purpose. You could also, your defense could also be that you are using the trademark on genuine goods. So that would happen in the case of importation. So if you are importing goods, already the person that you're importing it from ideally should have maybe validly procured the goods and the mark is validly, so it's not a counterfeit good, and then you import it. Of course, you could say, these are genuine goods. This is the point of importation, and so long as the trademark proprietor had agreed to the affixing of the trademark in the jurisdiction where it's imported from, then it coming into the new country would not be infringing use because it's used on genuine goods. Another defense could be that you are using the utilitarian features of the mark in good faith. And that's one thing with having a shape or a container or a color or a pattern trademark. Because if it's a shape or a container or color or pattern that is serving a particular purpose, that its utility is of a particular purpose, if you're using those utilitarian features in good faith, there shouldn't be a problem with infringement, because in this case you're just using the utilitarian features. I'm thinking of a good example of using the utilitarian features of a given mark. If something is if something is shaped in a particular way but not necessarily colored in a particular way, and it's because of the kind of product that makes it shaped that way. Let's say shoes, for example. The shoes have to be shaped in the form of people's legs, right? And so if you have the shape, but there's some twist or whatever, and you're just using the shape of the shoe, it's just the utilitarian feature of the mark, even though the shape combined with maybe a word or a sign and some other and color and some other things on the mark might be what make up the entirety of the mark. But for you, you're just using the utilitarian feature, which is just the shape of people's feet, which is how you make shoes. I think that's a good example. You will tell me in class if that example didn't pass the message across. And then it could be a situation where you're using the mark, but your use is not the use to which registration extends. So for example, sometimes when you register a mark, your mark might in and of itself, in totality, be distinguishing, be distinctive and all that, and so it's registered. But maybe there are certain aspects of the mark that should be common to everyone. And so the registrar of trademark might require you to disclaim, might register, not require, you might register the mark with a disclaimer or concerning certain elements of the mark, or register a mark and ask you to, to make an undertaking and all that. So for example, you have in South Africa, a good example is Clearview. Clearview is a company that manufactures fencing, perimeter fencing products. So the Clearview, phonetically, it's Clearview, because one of their selling points is that this their fence, it's clear and yet you're protected, so you can see, you have a clear view of your environment. So the mark is registered with a disclaimer on or for clear and view. So when people are using clear view or clear and view to describe their products, or to describe a similar product, they will not be infringing. Their defense will be that your registration does not extend to people using clear and view in relation to perimeter fencing products. It's just, using clear view in relation to, making a trademark use of clear view, not that your registration extends to making a descriptive use of clear view as something. I think that makes sense. And then another defense would be concurrent registration. So where, for example, there are two marks that exist side by side. They are maybe identical, maybe confusingly or deceptively similar, but they've been registered. Then you say, we can coexist, and because we have this concurrent registration, usually done with an undertaking or some sort of disclaimer, but usually done with an undertaking. In that kind of environment, you are saying that, there's concurrent registration. Here, I have a registration, you have a registration, and so that's my defense to this allegation of infringement. And that's where we will stop in terms of defenses to trademark infringement. We'll have more details, more gist in class. See you then. Bye.